Hi everyone, great to be with you again. It's Monday in Australia anyway. And today I wanted to talk to you about something that happened to me yesterday. One minute I was going along quite happily, and the next minute a grief trigger just popped out of nowhere and I was in tears. And I wanted to talk about this because it's something that will happen to you if it hasn't already, and will continue to happen to you and to me, I imagine, for many years. What was happening was, I'm a member of the Compassionate Friends, which is a group which supports bereaved parents, grandparents and siblings. I'm also a volunteer for them down here in the southwest of Western Australia. And every year they ask for donations to keep their newsletter going, their good work going. And I was just writing out the cheque for the annual donation, and I actually had written something previously that I wanted them to publish, which they will do if any of you are aware on your child's birthday or anniversary day. They'll include that in their newsletter. And so as I was writing out the cheque for my donation, I happened to read what I'd written about my son, and all of a sudden I was in tears and crying, and it was just one of those really sudden grief triggers. And Therese Rando, who I've spoken about in one of my blog posts, coined this phrase, a STUG, a sudden temporary upsurge of grief, and it just comes quite often like a bolt out the blue, and one minute we're fine and the next minute we're in tears, and then for the rest of the day probably left feeling a little bit emotionally vulnerable, a little bit wobbly as I call it. When people ask me how I am and I'm just feeling like, I could well up in tears at any minute, I sound a bit wobbly today, and I'm sure many of you can appreciate what that feels like. But when you do get these grief triggers and start having a little sob or a cry, just know that it's really good to express those emotions, those tears and that pain and sorrow, and it is actually your love for your loved one, for your child, for your husband, spouse, brother, sister coming out, and that's a really good thing. So that's my message for you today, and I'll speak to you again next time. Bye for now.